Okay, so my name's Mackenzie, and I will be drawing the brachial plexus. So we have C5, C6, C7, C8, and T1. And then you connect C5 and C6, C7 by itself, and C8 and T1. And so these are the roots. And then off of C5, you have the dorsal scapular nerve. And the dorsal scapular nerve innervates the rhomboids major rhomboids minor, and the levator scapulae. And then you have the long thoracic nerve that innervates C5, C6, and C7, and it runs all the way down. And the long thoracic nerve innervates your serratus anterior. And so then you move on to the trunks. You have upper, middle, and lower. So you have your nerve subclavius right here. And what does that innervate? That innervates the subclavius. And then you also have your suprascapular nerve. And that innervates your infraspinatus and supraspinatus. And then we're going to draw this imaginary line right here in between the trunks and the divisions. And I'm doing this because this is the supraclavicular nerves, and this is the infraclavicular nerves. And that is just saying these are the nerves above the clavicle, and these are going to be the nerves below the clavicle. And so now the divisions are split up into anterior and posterior, anterior, posterior, posterior, anterior. And these don't have any nerves that run off of it. And now we're going to go on to the cords. So the anterior leads to the lateral cord. And this anterior is going to connect to this onto the lateral. And now we're going to connect the posteriors. And that is going to make, you guessed it, the posterior cord. And then here is the medial cord. And we're actually going to connect the lateral cord and the medial cord because that's going to make up the branches. And this is going to be the median. And this is going to be the musculocutaneous. And this is going to the ulnar. And right here you see the M shape. And so we're gonna fill the rest of this out as well. So you have the axillary nerve, and you also have the radial. So now we're gonna go back through these and list off the nerves and what they innervate as well. So for the lateral, you only have one. You have the lateral pectoral. And that just innervates one, and that innervates the pectoralis major. And then your posterior, it has three. You have your upper subscapular and your lower subscapular. And then you also have the thoracodorsal. And the upper subscapular innervates the subscapular. Or no, it innervates the scapula. Subscapularis. It's a subscapularis. And then the lower subscapular innervates the subscapularis and the teres major. And then the thoracodorsal innervates your latissimus dorsi. And so your medial also has three that run off of it. Your medial has your medial pectoral, and that ends up innervating your pectoralis major and your pectoralis minor. And then you have the medial brachial cutaneous nerve, and that innervates your skin. And then you also have your medial antebrachial cutaneous nerve, and that also innervates your skin as well. I'm gonna write this down. For medial pectoral, the pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. And so on to the branches, which I'm gonna make the radial nerve really thick, because that's how you're gonna know, especially in lab with cadavers. The musculocutaneous innervates the anterior brachium, and your axillary is your deltoids, and your teres minor, and your radial is your whole backside of your arm. So it's the posterior brachium and posterior antebrachium. And then your median is your anterior antebrachium and part of your manus. And then your ulnar, it's both anterior antebrachium and the manus, but it's mostly the manus. So this is my brachial plexus. Thank you for watching.